Welcome, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday and welcome to Owning Paradise. I'm Stephanie Gilezan, and every week I ask you one question about one country. Could you own there and still be glad you did 5 years later? Charles, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Charles Bornheimer, and let's pose the first question. Right, the nutmeg in your spice drawer probably came from this island. There are several thousand American medical students living there right now. 2 years ago, a hurricane took off almost every single roof on two of its islands. Where are we at?
Charles, we are in Grenada. This island sells nutmeg to the entire world, okay? And like you said, it trains American doctors. That means the economy does not live or die on tourists arriving, okay? Most islands in this region cannot say that. The rental demand has a floor under it, and the floor has nothing to do with a cruise schedule. And that's why I keep going back.
Well, here's what we'll look at today. As usual, we're going to talk about the case for the overall island for living, for investing, for lifestyle. Then look at some of the most popular areas. We have Grenada, we have L'Anse Alpine, hoping I say that right. And then we'll look at the ownership and the tax and the passport situation. But if you have been to Grenada, if you're looking at Grenada, if you're interested in exploring what it would be like to own there, drop it in the chat. Tell us what you're seeing. Tell us what your experience or questions are, and we get the conversation going. Happy to hear from you there. But Stephanie, let's go back to Grenada. There's 6 Caribbean countries that will effectively sell you a passport. Why is Grenada one that is special?
Well, Grenada is the grown-up version of the Caribbean citizenship story, okay? There's an economy here underneath the beach. Nutmeg and cocoa ship out of this island to the world. St. George's University fills the south end with students and faculty, and they all need somewhere to live. So I look at Grenada and I see a country worth visiting if the passport program vanished tomorrow. Look, that is a short list.
Right, and there's 3 islands. We have Carriacou and Petite Martinique. St. George wraps around a horseshoe harbor in the southwest. St. George's University has trained doctors there for almost 50 years, and as you said, the students and the faculty are the island's best tenants, effectively. And one thing that doesn't get on the brochures is that the insurers used to draw the hurricane belt north of Grenada, but how much should a buyer factor that in now?
Well, Grenada sits south of the line insurers used to draw for the hurricanes. That line has been crossed twice now in the last 20 years. Ivan hit in 2004 and damaged about 85% of the buildings on this island. And then Burl hit in 2024 and took out almost every roof on sister islands. So that is the record. So I buy in Grenada on a concrete roof and a current policy, or I do not buy in Grenada at all. And so that's what you see. Now that the roofs have been replaced, that's exactly what they are, the concrete roof.
Well, let's put some addresses on this. Where should a first-time Grenada buyer start their search?
Well, the first-time buyer in Grenada should start on Grand Anse, or some of the locals will call it Grand Anse Beach. It's the address the rest of the island gets measured against, okay? So Grand Anse is the long, calm stretch of white sand south of the capital. The university is just up the road. The airport is just a short drive. And when somebody pictures the good life in Grenada, this is that picture, and it holds through every single cycle.
So Grand Anse runs close to 2 miles on the southwest coast. Maurice Bishop International Airport is only about 10 minutes away. This is the tourism core, and the rental demand is concentrated here. Looking over at Silver Sands, which has approved shares and completed villas from 7 million. Its new villa collection is advertised from 2.5 million. Very different price tags, same beach. What is the buyer actually getting for the entry number?
Well, Silver Sands on Grand Anse is where I send people who want the beach and the passport in one signature, okay? It's also where I slow them down. A share and approved project starts around $275,000, right? A share, meaning fractional ownership. A villa on that beach starts in the millions. So one brand sits on 2 different products. Know which one you are buying before you fall in love with the brochure.
And so if Grand Anse is the postcard, where in the island does it, less of a performance and a little bit quieter?
Well, Lansall and Peen is where Grenada stops performing for the tourist. It is the leafy peninsula on the southern tip, full of all the private villas and quiet coves. It sits beside one of the main yacht anchorages in the southern Caribbean. I send the buyer here who wants an actual street and a boat within walking distance. It's a real neighborhood. After a month, you know who lives on it because they stay
Right.
there quite some time.
So Last Alpine is the residential. You're going to get the expats, the long-term owners. It's next to Prickly Bay, which is the main southern Caribbean anchorage. The homes there are mostly standalone villas, not as many branded resorts and units and things like that. But the standalone villas are not approved citizenship projects, I understand it. And there's one other corner that we should talk about too while we're at it. And Karyuku, what do you tell people about that right now?
Well, Karyuku is the sister island to the north. Right now, it is a rebuild rather than a bargain. Roofs are still going back on 2 years after the storm. Prices there are a fraction of the main island. And there's a reason for that. If you want quiet over convenience, you can buy into a recovery. Karyuku works if you want rental income right now, very next season, okay? And it does not.
So that part kind of changes the math. What does it cost for a foreign owner to own here?
Well, a foreign buyer buying an ordinary house in Grenada pays 10% of the price to the government, okay? And that's the alien landholding license, and it comes due before you own anything. A foreigner buying into an approved citizenship project pays none of it, okay? So if the project is approved, you don't pay that. It's the same island, it's the same money out of your account. One route hands a tenth of it to the treasury. So think about that number, right? It's a big number.
Right, and the license comes from Grenada's Landholding Regulation Act. The fund donation route starts at 235,000. None of that money comes back. That's just part of the purchase. Sole ownership of approved property starts at 350,000. But Grenada charges no capital gains, no inheritance tax. Annual property tax is about 0.3%. And there's another thing that Grenada has that no other program in the region has, which is the United States Investor Treaty. What does that look like, Steph?
Well, Grenada holds an investor treaty with the United States. Look, we've never talked about this before because no other Caribbean citizenship country does. A Grenadian citizen can apply for an E2 visa to live in America and run a business there. The marketing stops right there, right? The law does not. United States law changed in 2022. If you got your citizenship through a financial investment, you have to hold a domicile in Grenada for 3 straight years before you can file. Domicile is not a visit. It is not a mailing address. It means Grenada is your home. So this is a real plan for a family that wants to live there. It's a fantasy for anyone treating the island as a layover, okay? So talk to a United States immigration lawyer before you build anything on it. But if you're looking for that pathway, here's a real pathway to it.
Absolutely. And again, if you're out there watching this with a number in your head or an idea about Grenada or where you might like to land there, make sure to mention in the chat, get the conversation going. We have a lot of interesting experiences to share. So for the kind of the big choice, the Grand Anse, Les Alpine, what's how does buyer kind of identify with one or the other?
Well, Grand Anse or Lansall Alpine comes down to one question. Do you want the property working when you are not on the island? Okay. Grand Anse is where the renters are. That is the answer if the place has to earn money between visits. Lansall Alpines is where the residents are. That is the answer if you're actually going to live there, be there for an extended period of time. Most people tell me they are the second kind. They are not the second kind. Most people are going to be the first kind because they want to earn that rental income. That's me.
Right. Yeah, and so Grand Anse, if you have to earn, if you just want to be there and enjoy it and the
Yep.
privacy and the space, it's La Salpine. Again, if you're looking, the Airdomo team is here to help you with the residency questions, the tax questions, the navigating the Landholding Act questions. So make sure to connect with us, and again, hop in the chat with your questions. Stephanie, if Grenada's on your list, how should you start?
Well, look, let's start with the beach. You would actually want to wake up on it, okay? So if Grenada is on your list, we're going to start with the beach. Let the citizenship follow the house. The people who buy a place they love in Grenada are the ones still glad that they own it 5 years later. The smartest buyers move before the trade is obvious. Come find us at Airdomo and tell us what you are really after. I'm Stephanie Gilezan, and I will see you next week on Owning Paradise.
See you next week.
Bye, y'all.